You are listening to X-Wing Radio.
That's right. I'm David, that's Wesley, and this is X-Wing Radio, your weekly broadcast from a galaxy far, far away.
There we go. There's the right intro. I don't know if you're gonna keep in the first part or not, but had a little bit of a hiccup there at the beginning. Um, so jumping right in, David, I was thinking. Um, Obviously we've been talking about the Acolyte on the show, and the Acolyte finished up last week, I believe it was. Um,
Yes. 2 weeks ago,
so my
I believe it's 2 weeks ago as of this episode going out.
yeah, so it's been 2 weeks ago. Um, but it doesn't really matter that much. I was thinking, we could give ourselves not both, but collectively we could take like 20 minutes and just sum up our thoughts on the Acolyte. Because let's be honest here, there's a couple things within the show that we probably want to talk about, but the last two episodes, like as a whole, we don't need to really sit here and break down. So unless you have any disagreements, I figured we could go about 20 minutes and then we could jump into the rest of the video.
So, I'm chewing. Um, but
I noticed. I
there's, a,
noticed.
there's actually one thing, there's one big thing that I think you want to talk about. Actually, I know you want to talk about.
I mean, yeah. There's okay. I know what you're talking about. We're gonna beat around this bush because it's fun that way. So I know what you're talking about that I want to talk about, and yes, I do want to talk about that. But also, there's the two other main points of this show that I want to talk about with it too. But David, last two episodes of of the series Acolyte, um, I definitely think that they regrouped. I do think that the show got way too much hate at the beginning and people weren't willing to give it a chance. Understandably, honestly, let's be honest here. It is understandable that people were hating on the show because they didn't like it at the beginning because people are so done with Disney Star Wars. So it's understandable that they were automatically from the get-go, hey, I don't like this. I'm going to trash this show. But I think as time went on, and we got to the end of the series, a lot of the problems people have, not completely, but a lot of the problems people had were like, okay, well, they resolved that. Um, I thought the
I
last
will
two
say,
episodes, I thought the go ahead.
the show did not deserve the hate that it
Yeah.
understand it, but it did not deserve it. It,
Hmm.
I will say, there were points that you know, still don't really make a lot of sense. But as far as, okay, if you're gonna compare this to like the Book of Boba Fett, this is not the worst show Disney has put out.
Oh yeah, no, by far, it's by no means the worst show Disney has put out. Right, so I got my little stopwatch here, and I'm gonna turn it on. So we have 20 minutes. 20 minutes to talk about this show. I didn't start it earlier when I mentioned that, but I'm gonna do this, and then we'll just wherever we're at, we're just gonna drop it and move on. So that being said, David, I think we need to go ahead and dive into the three main aspects of the show that I do want to talk about. First off, the fact that Mundi said in episode 2 or 1, whichever one, I don't really care at this moment, that there hadn't, or I guess it'd be episode 1 because that would make sense for the timeline. Anyways, that there hadn't been the Sith haven't existed for a millennium. Okay, that was a big thing because obviously there's Sith in this show, so what was going to be the explanation for it. I like, obviously we talked about it. Soul had to die. I honestly like how they did it. Like it was like Soul wasn't the main character, but he was focused on a lot throughout the show. And for them to
Hmm.
just kill him, I I I, I kind of respected that. I was like, yeah, he's dead. You poke him with a stick, he's staying there. Like he's not moving. So I kind of I kind of like that. It was I like that they took that route. Also, I like the fact that you could see um what's the Indara? Master Indara? What's her name? The green one?
Yeah, yeah, Master Randara.
So something like that. Um she placed all the blame on Soul
Mm.
because she didn't
Which
want.
we called, or at least I called.
Yes. Yes. So I liked that because that really just shows just how corrupt and how close to, like, I mean, it just shows where the Jedi Order is at, and it shows like it leading up to where we see him in a Phantom Menace, and I thought that was a really good aspect of it.
And they didn't explicitly say it, but one thing we also talked about, one of our theories, was that Chimere, or Darth Jason, was Randara's apprentice at one point. And
Yep.
they didn't spell it out, they didn't say it, but they hinted at it.
Yes, they did. And so I'm interested to see. I'm just gonna go ahead and say they're probably gonna give this a season two because Disney Star Wars does stuff like that. Um, they hinted at stuff for season two. I would love to see season two if Plagueis is in it, which is a talking point of all this. Um, but yeah, no, as far as the way the show wrapped up, like I thought it handled itself pretty well. There were some things in that final episode. So you know how the Jedi show up? Um, they show up on what's the Brendock, right? Is that the name of the planet?
Yes. Yeah, Brindock.
Anyways, the planet with the witches. They show up on that planet, and May and Osha are fighting, and they see the fighter, the ship fly overhead, and then like 20 hours later, they're showing up at the front doorstep and trying to get in. I was like, that kind of seemed like the timing was a bit off on it. Like so much happened between the time of when they saw the ship and when the Jedi actually showed up. And so, because they showed up when Soul and Chimera were fighting, and so I kind of felt like maybe the timing was a little bit off with that. But as far as the rest of it goes, like I like the way that they played out that last episode. Um, they I mean they tied up the loose ends, and I don't feel like it was one of those things where they got to the end of the show and they're like, "Oh crap, we have all these loose ends we have to tie off." Like I felt like it was, whether people liked the plan of the way that the show went or not, it was planned out ahead of time.
Mhm. Which, so I feel like, okay, I still kind of have a problem with the whole, virgins in the Force, virgin
Yes.
birth thing. But at least it's not literally just like, they did try to make it different enough from the whole Anakin thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I read something about that. And so jumping over to that part of the show, I don't like that. I don't like that they did this. The Anakin, as we've talked before, Anakin is okay. So in the new Deadpool trailer, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but he's like, "Oh, I'm Marvel Jesus." Well, Anakin is Star Wars Jesus, okay? So he's supposed to be he's a chosen one. He's supposed to be special. He has the virgin birth, yada yada yada. Okay, so that's the parallel. Um, but I read something talking about this, and this does not. If we've talked about it on the show before, if you Star Wars is what you want it to be. So if you don't like the Acolyte, just pretend it doesn't exist. I mean, you don't have to consider it canon, but within the line of that being canonized, I saw a thing where it said, let me say it like this. So essentially, and you just finished the Plagueis novel, you said earlier today. So you'll know where I'm coming from with this. So in the Plagueis novel, they heavily hint at that when Plagueis is trying to manipulate life and manipulate the midichlorians, he the Force basically kicks back at him, and in doing so creates Anakin. Anakin being the chosen one, the one that's going to defeat the Sith. So he's trying to create something to further the Sith cause, to get to bring the Sith plan to fruition, right? And so the Force, because he's trying to manipulate the Force so much, it kicks back and ultimately creates the thing that leads to the Sith downfall. Okay, so it was talking about how, like, essentially May and Osha were maybe created through the Force by these witches, but the Force, like, it was inconsequential to the Force, right? Like it didn't really matter to the Force. Whereas Anakin is still special because the Force specifically said, this is my answer to what you've been doing. I create this. So like Osha and May were created with the instrument of the Force, whereas Anakin was still created by the Force. Like the Force made Anakin, essentially, is like a way that you could look at this. Where Anakin is still special. I don't like having to look at it like that. It depends on if the show ends up like if there's a season 2 and Plagueis is in it and it just like knocks it out of the park. But at the same time, I feel like that's a okay way to look at it. That's not the way I think Lucas intended it to be, but Lucas is no longer in charge. So,
Because like you said, like when Lucas made the prequels, it was supposed to be like a parallel to Jesus.
yeah.
It's pretty obvious that that's what
I don't remember
it's supposed
any
to be.
I don't I don't remember any twins uh, you know, reading in the Bible any twin virgin births. So, I don't know where they got this inspiration from. But, you know, but yeah, it's not what Star Wars is supposed to be. Anakin is supposed to be special. But
Mm,
I think if you look at it through the lens of he was actually created by the Force, like the Force made that. Whereas
mm.
Osha and May were made through the Force. It's not great. It's not ever what I wanted, but you can maybe look at it like that and accept this a little bit more.
I mean, Star Wars already has stuff, and you kind of have to
Yeah.
jump through some hoops on to actually,
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
the first thing. It is still kind of a glaring issue, but it's not the
Yeah.
first thing like it. It's not the worst thing like it either.
Yeah. Okay, David.
But
So moving on.
yeah.
Well, actually, no. Do you have any else thing to say on those 2 points?
No, I actually had something else I wanted to move on to, but I'll let you move on to whatever you want to move on to first.
Well, all I was going to move on to was Plagueis, but I want to know what you were wanting to talk about, because I've been talking for a while here.
Well, we can talk about Plagueis because what I want to talk about kind of is related to that. Not directly,
Okay.
but indirectly. Okay, so Plagueis. Now, again, they didn't spell it out. They didn't say Plagueis anywhere in the episode,
Yeah.
but the Mewin hiding in the cave in the shadows is
Mm-hmm.
obviously Plagueis.
Yes. Yes. I told Sarah this. I said, I really like all I really wanted. Like I'm okay. I'm glad that they put Plagueis in the show, which means that they're going to go down that route, right? So we got to see Plagueis. We got to see him as immune, right? I know at one point you mentioned before we knew really who Chimere was, you're like, what if they do this to Plagueis? And I would be like, screw them. But anyways, they didn't do that. We actually got immune for Plagueis. It looked really good in the brief little shot. It looks really good. I told Sarah, I said, what I would have loved to see was an in shot where Chimere walks back into the cave at the end of the episode, or maybe even in the end credit scene, and he walks in, and then all of a sudden he just gets force pulled straight up to Plagueis, and Plagueis has his hands around Chimere's neck, and he just utters a brief line of something like, you know, uh, something along the lines of saying, "You've been very sloppy. You've almost revealed us, all for this acolyte," or whatever, right? And basically showing his displeasure, not necessarily killing Chimere, but like basically saying, "Hey, you 3 strikes, you're out," kind of a deal. And then
Mm.
being it. So we'd actually get to hear his voice a little bit and see him, like, just see briefly how powerful he is. I understand it's supposed to be a cameo, similar to like us seeing the back of Yoda's head at the end of the episode. I understand. They're just cameos. They're just supposed to kind of tie the universe together or hint at things to come. But I
But
was like, I really would have liked to seen a brief scene just showcasing just how
also,
powerful Plagueis is.
if they did that as an in credit scene, that also would have had a very good like hat or like mirroring. You know, like you said, this show likes to do that the mirroring with the episodes and
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
That would also been a good episode of that, or mirror to that scene in the episode with Yoda.
Yeah. Hmm. So,
You know,
but they didn't do it, and honestly, before I watched the episode, I kind of knew that they weren't because I had brief spoilers because I watched the episode late and I was still on social media and I saw plenty of pictures of Plagueis, and so I was like, okay, he's in the show. And since all I saw was the same picture over and over again, I was like, okay, it's really just a brief thing. Like that's all they're going to show and that's going to be it. And so I was excited to see that, but I I knew watching the episode that I wasn't gonna get a scene with him, which I was a little upset about. But you get what you get,
you get what you get, and you don't get upset.
and you don't give anything back.
No, I was
Take
quoting
what you
Back to
can and
Different
give.
Strokes.
Well, I was quoting Pirates of the Caribbean vaguely. Was it take what you can and give
Was
nothing?
that from? Wait, I think that was actually from Dr. Diffenschmerz in Milo Murphy's Law. I think that's where that quote came from.
I
'Cause I
well,
think that
actually,
was
no, I
when
don't
he was
want.
building the time. I think that was when he was building the time machine taco stand.
I wonder if in the new, not to stray too far off of, but whatever, it doesn't matter too much. Um, I wonder if in the new episodes or season that they're making for Phineas and Ferb, I wonder if Milo Murphy's going to show up any, because they've already showed that connection. So I wonder if they're going to have that crossover in Phineas and Ferb's, like in Danville and all.
Hmm.
I'll be curious to see. Anyways, what did you want to talk about that vaguely related but didn't really relate, but kind of related, but like not in a real way, kind of relation type of a thing? Anyways, what do you want to talk
So,
about?
Chimere, Darth
Oh,
Jason,
yeah. Darth Jason.
Darth Jason. I know you had mentioned this theory earlier, and I kind of like. I kind of like this looking, a little bit because there's some comics and stuff that explain this, that go into this, and anyway, but that Darth Jason might be the first Ren,
Yes.
which I mean, okay, I didn't really like Kylo Ren as a character, but the Knights of Ren arguably are cool. It's just the fact that they did not use them whatsoever in the sequels.
Well, it's kind of like Kylo wearing his mask. They were like, "Hey, here's this really cool thing." Okay, so moving on, it's like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this really cool character." Yeah, Adam Driver's underneath it. I mean, I ain't got nothing against Adam Driver, but he's not the most intimidating person in the world. and you needed
And
someone to be intimidating to play such a badass role. I mean,
from what I've seen and what I've heard, Adam Driver is actually a pretty good actor, but
well,
not
he's
in
a pretty
Star
good actor.
Wars.
He's a pretty good actor. And here's the thing. Here's the thing too. The guy was a Marine, I think.
Mm.
He was in the military. So like he's a real world badass. But like he just can't portray that on the screen.
At least not as a villain.
Not as a villain. He may be maybe he can as a hero, but I mean, I don't know. And who knows? It might have been a thing of where he just suffered from the direction the movies were taking. It's not actually his fault. I don't really know. So he just
It's
his
just
character just fell flat.
it's just
His character fell
yeah.
flat. It may
But
not be his fault, but
but like I said, with the sequels, I wanted to see them flesh out the Knights of Ren more. And so maybe bringing this in as fleshing out, to flesh out the Knights of Ren more while distancing itself from the sequels, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world.
yeah, and it's a little sad because we've talked about this before. Like everything, they're just trying so hard to tie everything into the sequels. So this would be another thing that they're just tying into it again. But if they do it well and they bring in, like you said, bring in the Knights of Ren and showcase them and showcase how cool they actually are, then yeah, I mean, it's
And the fact
acceptable.
that, and also the fact that, like, it would also be cool to see, like, if the Knights of Ren are actually an offshoot of the Sith.
Yeah, that's true too. So yeah, I mean, I do like the theory, and I would like to see that actually come out where Chimere is the founder of the Knights of Ren. However, it goes about. I mean, he's over here trying to find all these acolytes, so maybe that is essentially what it is him accumulating acolytes and training them, and then they become the Knights of Ren. Maybe he has some dispute um against Plagueis, and then maybe Plagueis even kills Chimere, but then his followers, kind of go into hiding or something along those lines,
The
So
only thing that kind of wonder about is, and they've already kind of established this in comics, but where were the Knights of Ren during the reign of the Empire? If they were actually an
yeah,
offshoot of the Sith, why didn't Palpatine use them?
well, if they're somewhat of an offshoot of the Sith, because I mean, think about the fact that like they used the Inquisitors, right? Well, the Inquisitors were obviously significantly less powerful than Vader and Palpatine, so maybe it was a thing of if given the ability to come back into the sphere of the Sith, maybe they would have gotten too powerful. Although if that was the case, he might have just had him killed. So maybe it was out of some kind of a fear that they didn't show their face. Who knows? Because I mean, if that's the case, if Chimere is one of the ones that is a founder, or in any vague way is the founder of the Knights of Ren, then got a little that thing hurts my head. It's my alarm in the morning, and anytime I hear it, it hurts my head. So I have my headphones on, but I can still hear it.
Hmm.
To finish up what I was saying, if he is in any way, shape, or form vaguely connected to the Knights of Ren, yeah, what are they doing between the 100-year period of then till Phantom Menace through the prequels, through the original trilogy, and up until you see them more in the sequel era? Like, what are they doing? So that is a very good question that I don't even vaguely have a thought on. Oh.
Also, apparently, in the comics, the Ren, who was the leader of the Knights of Ren, was the wielder Well, the lightsaber. I think the lightsaber is also called Ren
Hmm.
because in the comics it has like the first Ren or whatever.
Yeah.
But like after he's already a Ren, the first Ren. But a lot of people say he is actually Chimera. Anyway, but after I heard that, like I said, I'd have to look into the comics and stuff more. But I was kind of
Yeah.
confused about that as to why, because it was just a regular lightsaber, like Sith lightsaber in the comics. So why doesn't Kylo use that lightsaber if he's supposed to be the leader of the Knights of Ren? If he's supposed to be the Ren?
Yeah. I don't know. Cause I mean, yeah, there's a lot about the Knights of Ren. I don't know a lot about uh, comic book stuff I've read. So that side of the lore I'm not familiar with or have any knowledge of. Um, I do agree with you; they're kind of cool, but I haven't looked into any of that. So that is interesting. Maybe we need to devote an episode to talking about the Knights of Ren. Do some research on it. But all right, David, any
So,
final thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
so you sent me some links earlier. What are these
Mm-hmm.
two?
To things that we will talk about when we finish up our final thoughts on the Acolyte.
Oh, I was trying to give you a segue, but
Well, yeah, I want to know what your final thoughts on the Acolyte are, though.
um, well,
Scale of 5 to 10.
scale of 5 to 10,
Yeah.
3.
Okay, that's fair. I might have given it like a 4.
I mean, it was, good, but it wasn't amazing. But it also didn't deserve the hate it got.
Yeah, it didn't deserve the hate it got. It wasn't the greatest show ever. It wasn't the worst show ever. It was a show.
I feel like that's why we have to do a scale of 10, because on a scale of 10, I'd probably put it at like a 7.
Yeah, I think for me on a scale of 1 to 10, it'd probably be around a 5 or a 6. It's average. It's not bad. It's not great. Probably never watch it again. You know.
I
To be
might
fair though,
rewatch it. I might rewatch it if they make a season 2, but that would be the only time.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. To be fair, I haven't really watched many of the Star Wars shows more than once. Like even like The Mandalorian. I've vaguely watched a little bit of it with Sarah when she was watching through them, but I don't know. That's a lot of time that I don't really care to sit down and watch. Like obviously if we're talking about it, I'll watch it. But like I watch the Clone Wars because of nostalgia. I watch the movies because I like the movies. But I'm not gonna really sit down and like watch through the shows. Like I just don't feel the need to. If I want to remind myself of any lore that I might be forgetting, I'm gonna go watch a video on it before I go and actually watch the show. I just don't feel like taking the time to watch them again. So, once I've watched them once, I've seen it. It is what it is.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, David, um, let me talk you through all this. So I sent you some links. These are some quizzes. Now, before you do anything to open up these quizzes, we're going to take these together. I have briefly looked over them, but I haven't done anything to give myself an advantage in them. All right. Um.
Okay.
So what I've looked. So let me talk you through what went through my head in planning what I'm doing for this video. So originally, I was going to just keep on moving with our schedule and start and talk about Kashyyyk, right? So that was my original plan, which is why all three? Let's see. One, two. Yeah, all three quizzes are Chewbacca quizzes. I think there's two, how well do you know him? And one, what percentage Chewbacca are you? Okay? So that's what we're going to take these quizzes for. Now, I decided to not go the route of um reading the Wikipedia article on Kashyyyk, Um, Instead, I have another article that I'm going to read you, and we'll get to
Oh
that
boy.
later. It is not pertaining to. I haven't read it, so we'll see how this is. But it's an interesting topic. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Chewbacca and kind of get an idea of, how much we actually know about this walking fuzzball. Um, and this isn't a deep dive. I just thought since, we I thought we could do a little bit of a little bit less research intensive, more random video. Not really random. We're talking about Chewbacca. But all right. So, what's the first link that I sent you? Let me see. So, I sent you the Wattpad. Wattpad.com. Is this one?
So
Yeah, it is.
you
Okay,
want
cool.
to do that one first?
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and do them in order.
Okay.
Or maybe not in order. We'll do the two quizzes that talk about how well do we know him, and then we'll see how much Chewbacca we are. Which I'm of the opinion, David, that I think you're gonna be more Chewbacca than me. You're hairier than I am.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Well, I mean, you shaved, but
Yeah.
All right, so David, how well do you know Chewbacca? Do you know who Chewbacca? Do you know who Chewbacca is? Okay.
Um,
He's a
he's a Wookiee.
legendary Wookiee. He's a legendary Wookiee warrior and Han Solo's co-pilot. Chewbacca
Really?
was part of the group of rebels who destroyed. Oh, so it said restored, but I was gonna say destroyed freedom in the galaxy. Um, actually, well,
Oh
hey,
my
if you
gosh.
look at it, right? So obviously the Empire was bad, but the rebels were terrorists, so maybe they did destroy freedom in the galaxy. Okay, my bad. The rebels who restored freedom in the galaxy. Alrighty. Alright, David. This is the extent of what I've read of this quiz. Which Jedi Master led the Battle of Kashyyyk on the Wookiee planet? Obviously, I think we both know this one.
Well, see, I'd be curious to see what they say, because there's actually two answers you could put here, but
Yeah,
I'm
but I
I'm
think the
assuming they're doing the obvious one.
yeah, I would say that they're doing the obvious one. I would say it's probably from the movies, what you see. So
Well, I mean, technically, what I'm saying is from episode 3 as well, but it's like in the background. But yeah, anyway.
so wait, okay, so I know is it Luminara and uh we talked about him not too long ago. Um what's the other guy? Why am I forgetting the name? Quinlan Voss are supposed to be on Kashyyyk too, but is she actually in the background?
Yes, she's actually there in the background
I
of
might
episode 3.
I I might remember that. It's been a second since I watched episode 3. Probably last time we talked about it on the channel is last time I watched it. All right, so are we going with Yoda on this one?
Uh, yes, I would go with
Because
Yoda.
I mean, he's the Grand Master. If he's on the planet, I would assume that
Okay,
he
so
would be in charge.
I would say probably Yoda is the answer because it says lead, but technically Luminara and Quinlan Voss were there leading troops.
And
But
we're probably more on the front lines than Yoda was, at least what he was
yeah,
shown. But
yeah,
because I mean, what like yeah. Anyways, all right. So, what kind of weapon does Chewbacca use?
bowcaster.
Okay. Uh, how tall is Chewbacca? The actor was like 7'2", right?
Just about to say, how tall do you think he is? I was gonna say 7'3".
Well, how long is Peter? How long? How long is Peter Mayhew? How tall is he?
Um,
Oh boy,
We're not
David.
going there.
Oof. Oof. We're asking the wrong questions. We're not interested. At least I'm not. David, jury's still out. We're not sure on David. How does that work for Wookiees? I mean, I know they got all the hair, but like,
No.
you think you had seen something.
Did Sarah show you that meme that she sent me on
No.
Instagram?
Okay,
Okay.
she might have sent it. She might have sent it to me. She told me, okay, well now I gotta go look at this. All right, give me a second. I gotta go because she's been telling me for the past like 3 weeks that I need to go check what she's sent me on Instagram. Let's see, which one would it be?
If there's not one about
Oh, okay,
Chewbacca, let me send this one to you.
okay. So it says here. Oh, can I
Don't
read
read it.
this?
Don't read that
But
out
can I
loud.
read? But David. Uh, but I want to read it. This is worth reading, David. This is worth reading.
Okay, go ahead. If you and I both have to think about this, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry. Any innocent people on listening to this? Taylor, Katie, I'm talking to y'all. Tune out. Okay. I'm not gonna read it verbatim, but anyways. Do you think Chewbacca has a human penis or one of those red rocket things like dogs have? George Lucas won't respond to any emails.
Why?
What are the comments? What's your guess? Uh, the first comment is a GIF, and it's a lipstick thing, and that is the lipstick thing is twisting out, so it's coming up. Uh, all right, 100% dog rocket, Rocket Man, red rocket for
Gosh.
sure, rocket all the way. Def a giant rocket, red rocket.
What were we
Uh,
even talking about before?
Chewbacca, David. Um, to be fair, you brought this up. This one's
Sure.
interesting. A red Sith flesh saber. I didn't want to read that. Not that I didn't
Why?
want to read it out loud, but I read it, so someone else had to hear it. Oh no, why? Why did I have to go and imagine a hybrid? Okay. Anyways, so David, how tall is Chewbacca? Here's the thing, David. I feel like eventually our crude sense of humor would have to make it on the show. So, how
Uh,
tall is Chewbacca? So we gotta go with
7'3".
7'3"?
I'm just going with
I'm
7'3".
I think it's somewhere around there, 7'2", 7'3". All right. How did Princess Leia describe him on the Death Star when he was in her way? Walking carpet? Wasn't that the line?
Think so. Sounds familiar.
Walking carpet. So like okay, so I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of a walking carpet. I don't remember verbatim what she actually says. Is it? Can someone please get this walking carpet out of my way? Because that doesn't sound right. But like the idea of it being a walking carpet sounds right. And here's the thing: are we gonna count it as right if we get it pretty close? Like if we get the fact that it's a walking carpet, but we don't get verbatim what she said.
I'm not sure, but there's only 5 questions, so that's only worth 20. It's only worth 20%.
Well, I guess. What's your answer? What's your answer? What are we going with? Just walking carpet? That's how she described him. It didn't say remember the quote.
Think that's right, but I don't really remember.
Okay, well, we'll just go with it. Um. Oh, here's a hard one. From what cell block is Chewie supposed to be moved as part of Luke's plan to rescue Leia? So from where to where? Right, that's what it's asking.
Um, from where to where?
Well, I'm assuming all it's asking is from what cell block. So where's he supposed to be coming from when he gets moved to the cell block with Leia in it?
Cell block 5? I don't know.
Well, was it the cell block 1138 that Leia's in?
1138? Was it
Because that's
1137?
well, I thought it was well, okay. We could go one down. That's a crafty little move there. Uh, why would you move someone from one cell block to another?
Sure, hold up. So it is, from what cell block is Chewie supposed to be moved as a part of Luke? From what cell block is Chewie supposed to be moved? It should say either moved to or moved from, but it doesn't.
So, do we want to say that he's coming from cell block 1137 to cell block 1138
Let's
and not
go with
5?
that.
Because I don't think 5 is anywhere close to the answer.
Let's go with
Just gonna
that.
be honest. All right. Next up, Han Solo. What? Looks like I'm going so.
You have to go to the next chapter for the answers.
Okay, but okay, continue reading. Let's see what the next chapter look. Is this the
Okay,
next chapter?
continue to the next part. Han Solo questions. Who was Han
All
Solo
right, so
formerly known as?
ah, well, do you want to do that or do you want to know what the answers are?
Let's go down the answers first. Okay, so
David,
question one.
David,
Hmm?
we're stupid Americans. We weren't supposed to answer his height and feet. You got a converter?
Yeah, I can do that. I can. What
Okay,
was it?
so
One.
while you're doing that, we said what's 2.28 meters is how tall he is
It's
for
close.
question 3.
We were
Were
off
we
by two
supposed to get it?
inches.
Well, how many meters
7.
is that?
Hmm?
David, we're supposed to say it in meters, not feet or inches. So wait. So he's supposed to be 7'4"? Or that'd be 7'5" if we said 7'3". Or are you supposed to be 7'1"? You got me all turned around. You haven't blinked in a while.
He's 7'6".
Oh, so we're 3 inches off.
Yeah, it confused me because it gave it to me in decimal feet, so it was seven.
Decimal?
It was 7.5 feet, or roughly. So that's 7.6.
Okay.
So but it confused me at first. Well, it was actually 7.4 or 8. I was rounding. That still confused me for a second there.
It's too, David, it's too late in the day for that much math. All right, so we got number 1 right. We said it was Yoda. They weren't trying to be too complicated. Number 2 we got right. It was a bowcaster. Number three was a rounding error. Also, a stupid American error because we were supposed to be given it in meters. I feel like that was just so we didn't know. We didn't know what units we were supposed to be using. So I feel like that's not our fault.
Well,
We were
it
close enough.
should specify in the question.
Well, it should. Also, I'm pretty sure Star Wars uses meters anyways. Um, I don't know. Uh, a big walking carpet.
We didn't say big.
Oh well. And it was cell block 1138. So that question was worded weird.
So it should have been moved two because it just said what cell block was he moved as a part. It should have been moved
They were
two.
missing. They were missing some stuff in there. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, I think we did pretty good. But
Okay,
let's see if this other.
I'm
Okay,
gonna guess brownie points on those last three.
hey, I accept that. All right, David. So the next one that we're gonna take, you need to click on. Where are you at? There you are. Okay, you need to click on
The fun
the
trivia one.
last. Wait, wait. Whatever the last one is. Yeah, fun
Okay.
trivia. Okay, cool.
Okay. Oh,
So
at least this one's multiple choice. Okay.
yeah, I didn't realize that the first one wasn't okay. I read it, but like I guess I'm a little stupid. Anyways, what race is Chewbacca?
Okay, so your
He's a
options are Wookie, Wampa, Ewok, or
David,
why am I being stupid? Hold on.
the Variana, the Varianin,
Rhiannon.
Danny DeVito. He's a Danny DeVito.
Chewbacca is Danny DeVito.
It's a disguise. He's wearing stilts.
Devarian? Devarian?
David,
Devarian.
David, I want to make a bad joke. It's about the meme.
I was about to say, go ahead, we already did that this episode. Go ahead.
Well, I guess that explains which which rocket he has. It's the dog one.
Why?
Oh no, reverse. I don't know because I could. Anyways, so okay, well, David, what is he? What is he? What is he? He's not a Danny DeVito. Stupid.
He's a
Wait, I want to see
Wampa,
what the hint
obviously.
is. He's a Wampa.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. Wampa, 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 Wampa.
Yeah, what is the hint?
It's like the pack. I know. I was gonna say, what's the hint?
Oh,
Two hints left.
it
Oh,
just
it crosses
erases
them
two.
out.
Yeah, it just crosses two out.
Hey,
But Wampa's still an
hey,
option.
wait. Wampa is still an option. Wait, if he said two hints left, so I'm a. Does it for the whole thing? Wait, what? I hit another hint, and it just took a hint away. It didn't. Oh, here's a hint. Figure it out. Be less stupid. Oh my god. Well,
It's
that's.
again, and it just. But no,
You're
he's
so.
obviously a Wookiee.
He's obviously
Chewbacca's a
Wookiee,
Wookiee.
but it's like you're so dumb. I'm not even gonna give you this one. Oh god. All right, David,
Okay.
you read the next one.
What planet is Chewbacca from? Endor, Hoth, Dantooine, or Kashyyyk?
David, are you reading them in order, or are you reading them out of order on purpose? Because it's throwing me off a little bit.
No, I'm reading them in order.
Well, then they're in different order than mine are because, yeah, it was funny. You read the first one, and I was like, why are you skipping around so much? But, okay, well, that makes more sense then. All right, so they're switching it up a little bit. Well,
The
okay, so
correct one is
here's
the
the,
last one. The last answer.
well, here, Danny DeVito, he lives on Danny DeVito.
No, no. It's Dantooine this time. And
Actually, no, Dantooine's my last one. What was your last one?
Endor.
Oh, well, it does have trees, but, the
It's
thing
actually not the
is
last one.
Indoor's
I thought Endor's the first one.
Oh, well, Endor is a little hot. I feel like he might want to be from Hoth because it's cold
All
there
that
and he has a
hair.
lot of fur.
Yeah, with all that
A lot of
hair, I mean,
hair.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, true, true. What's the hint? Well, it crosses out Hoth and Dantooine. All right, so we know where he's from, right, David? Right,
Yeah,
David?
Endor.
We know where he's from?
Yeah.
Endor. Okay, cool. All right, so he's from Kashyyyk. I was just gonna move on.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Go
don't
ahead,
know.
move on.
I was. eh, Are you not
Move
moving on?
on. Move on. Move on.
Are
Move
you
on.
not?
Move on.
uh,
Move on.
but I wanted to stay here. I was just joking. I didn't want to go nowhere. Don't make me go.
Question three.
Um, who's what's the what? How do you read this? I don't. What is the name of the actor who played Chewbacca? Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, Jeremy Bulloch. Bulloch. Anyways, Danny DeVito.
Um, Canute Ball.
Danny DeVito.
Um, Danny DeVito. Yes, Danny
What was
DeVito.
it, David? What was the skit that Holly and Michael did at the picnic, and they kept the last option when they were doing the little game show thing. Um, the last option was the same one each time. What was it? Because I feel like that's what we're
Oh,
doing currently with Danny DeVito.
that's a. What was it?
I don't know. That's why I asked. I wouldn't have asked if I knew. You're not the brightest, but you light up my world. Anyways,
Hold up, let me look this
are you
up.
you looking it up? Well, don't look up who played Peter Mayhew.
Okay, I won't.
Spoiler warning. It's Danny DeVito. It was something stupid, obviously.
Come on, where is it? I can't find it. We'll find it later. But
Okay. Yeah. Um, Peter Mayhew. I don't want to move on because you're gonna shoo me away.
hold up, I might have just found it.
Oh,
Let's
what was
see.
it?
Uh, no, this is not actually it. I just found a. I thought it was. I found a Reddit post. I thought it was gone. But, this was a. This Reddit post is basically just saying that company picnic is the cringiest episode, even more cringy than Scott's Tots or Dinner Party. I don't really think that's
Have
true,
they watched the show?
but it says, y'all, I know as far as cringe goes, episodes we all go through and think of a Scott's Tots and Dinner Party. But can we please talk about how Michael and Holly's Dunder Mifflin skit? Multiple choice questions about how someone killed himself, mimicking of torture, and telling everyone a branch is closing via multiple choice.
Okay, but let's be honest here. That was normal. The cringiest part of The Office was uh D'Angelo. That's the cringiest
And
part of The
I don't
Office.
even have anything against Will Ferrell. It's just that his character in The Office
His
is just
his
awful.
character sucks. I understand that's what you're supposed to be doing, so good job, but you suck.
Yeah. All right.
David,
Should we go on?
who is
What?
Oh, wait, what?
So should we move on to question 4?
Yep,
Okay.
Danny DeVito. Who was Chewie's best friend to whom he pledged his life debt? Han
Read it.
Solo, Luke Skywalker, Lando Calrissian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Danny DeVito?
Danny
I'll
DeVito.
stop eventually. I'll stop eventually. I will, I promise.
Not today, but eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, it was definitely um
You had
Danny.
to look at the options.
Who is here? So we got Luke Calrissian, Han Skywalker, Lando Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Solo.
Sounds about right.
I think it was Lando, Han, Luke, Obi-Wan, Skywalker, Solo, Calrissian, Kenobi.
Can I choose all of the above?
Sure.
Okay.
What does your
That
hint
way I
say?
never get it wrong. Hey, you get 3 hints per quiz. You're all out of hints. Hey, it took one from me. I only used one. Hey, wait. It said, hey, it says 1 hint left. Can you see? Can you see it? It says 1 hint left. It's backwards, but still. It said 1 hint. I have
Well,
a
your
hint.
quiz. Your hint.
You get 3
Whatever.
hints per quiz. You are out of hints. Ah! I need a hint. All right. Well, okay. Question 5.
Under what circumstances did Han and Chewie meet? Chewie ate
For
Han's
those of you
pet.
who are lost, Han is the answer to question 4. Moving on to the nonsense.
Under what circumstances did Han and Chewie meet? Chewie ate Han's pet. Han stepped on Chewie's foot. Chewie stowed away on Han's ship. Han rescued Chewie from slavery.
What kind of pet would Han Solo have? Would he have a dog?
Wookie?
No, no. Yes, but no. David, they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be treated as equals. David said, "Where'd those intrusive thoughts go? I'm gonna let them intrude." David's shoulder devil popped up and said, "Say it." He's like, okay. Then his other one said, "No. He's got a point." Oh,
Ah,
well, hopefully Chewie did not eat himself. Okay, well, imagine stepping on someone's foot and then owing them a life debt.
no, it's someone steps on your foot and then you owe them a life debt. Because there's Han stepped on Chewie's foot.
I'm gonna start stomping on people's foot and be like, "You owe me, and you owe me, and you owe me."
According to Wookiee culture, you.
Yeah, hairy
Oh,
son of a gun. All right. So per the
I-
movie, per the movie, Chewie ate Han's pet, his
and
pet
then he
Wookiee,
stowed away on. And then he stowed away on Han's ship.
where he accidentally put his foot underneath Han's underneath Hans. I flipped that and I tried to save it, and it just turned out to not work. But in the whole event, in all of this, Han was able to rescue Chewie from slavery.
Exactly.
and then enslave him to a life of debt. He said, "All right, I'm gonna rescue from slavery. I gotta learn, I gotta learn how to talk. I'm gonna rescue you from slavery, but you're enslaved to me for the rest of your life, per your culture." Oh God!
Oh
All
my
right,
gosh. Okay,
Han rescued Chewie from slavery.
what ship does Chewie co-pilot? Jade's Fire, Enterprise, the Millennium Falcon, or the Lady Luck? Are those all real like ships from something? 'Cause
Well, I'm assuming the
only
Enterprise is the Starship Enterprise,
yeah,
so they're crossing genres.
the
Jade's Fire.
franchises.
I was, anyways. I was wondering if Jade's Fire had anything to do with Mara Jade. I have no idea what Lady Luck is.
But definitely the Enterprise.
Well, yeah, obviously. What was it? The first question? Chewbacca's a Klingon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it not wise to upset a Wookiee? It's just not nice. They're people too, David, not pets. They eat people. No, they eat pets. They pull arms out of people's sockets. Wait, they pull people's arms out of their sockets. They start crying. Man, what a crybaby. I mean,
Pull
you eat
arms out of
someone's
people's
dog,
sockets? What does that even mean?
their sockets. They pull arms out of our. They pull people's arms out of their sockets.
Okay. Well, obviously they start crying.
I know, what a crybaby. I mean, you
Yeah.
eat someone's dog and then you're crying about it. I mean, you're full. Get over it.
Mm. Who does Chewie care?
That's all I heard. Was he came up with there's a
Alright, so who does Chewie carry his backpack in The Empire Strikes Back? Is it A, Wicket,
Le
2, Luke, 3, C-3PO, or D, Leia?
Leia.
It's interesting because C-3PO wasn't even in the movie until uh, Return of the Jedi.
Hmm?
So,
Now you got me confused.
the Ewoks weren't in it until Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I'm thinking of Wicket.
No, he's the droid.
Yeah. I got confused. David, you know me. I don't know anything about Star Wars.
Yeah.
What didn't Chewie like about the Imperial shuttle in Return of the Jedi? You know, David, I don't really care. But anyone who's like listening to this and doesn't really know much about Star Wars is probably really lost right now. Or at least has a vague knowledge of Star Wars. They're probably like, wait a minute, I thought Wicket was the Ewok and C-3PO was a droid. And we're over here like, no, stupid. Alright, so why didn't Chewie like the shuttle? It smelled bad. It wasn't designed for Wookiees. It was hard to steer. It reminded him of his slave days. Well, I feel like all those are probably true.
Um, did they
It probably
say
smelled like
anything in
wet
the
dog.
movie about that?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm just gonna go with it was hard to steer because I can't think of anything in the movie that it said, you know.
Oh, I was thinking maybe it was it reminded him of his slave days, but
I mean, that's probably right, but I'm just gonna go with what I want to.
okay, David, you do what you want to do because you're an independent woman. Woohoo!
What biological feature does Chewie have that is that is not mentioned in the movies?
A red rocket?
Like halfway through. That's why I stopped. Halfway through, I knew where you were gonna.
Well, David, just because you stop reading it doesn't mean that I can't see it here. All
So
right.
small horns, a small tail, retractable claws, or membrane-like gliding wings.
Disgusting. David, do you
Um,
know what this is?
I don't. Do you?
Okay, well, I do. I do. As long as this thing's not stupid. I do know what it is, and actually, it's an interesting thing that kind of pertains to the Acolyte. But take a guess. Take a gander. Sit on a
Retractable
gator.
claws?
Yeah, so that's what it would be. Or I would assume it would be. So they had retractable claws for like living on Kashyyyk, and like climbing trees, stuff like that. But if they ever used them in a fight, they were considered to be like rabid, basically. So that's why it was such a big deal for like when Kaunaka used his claws against in the fight. Like that's like Wookiees are supposed to be more civilized than to use their claws in a fight. So, anyways, how old was Chewbacca approximately in Return of the Jedi? 100 years, 200 years, 50 years, 10 years old. Man, he must have hit a growth spurt young.
I mean, he was obviously 10.
I thought so. Well, I mean, it's Star Wars, so the sun rotates around the galaxy differently.
Um,
Yeah, it takes longer because it's a
okay.
galaxy, so it
Yeah,
takes
okay.
takes longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. According to Han, what is the basis of Chewbacca's thinking? What is the basis of. Am I reading that right?
According to Han, what is the basis for Han? You are.
Okay.
The options
His
are his
stomach,
heart,
his
his
feet,
stomach, his
his
feet.
heart, or he
There's an
never thinks.
echo in here. There's an echo, and then it went back a phrase, and then it came back. Okay, so he never. I mean, personally, David, personally, you probably should put he never thinks since you think he's a pet. So, you little person. Anyways, does Chewbacca have a wife?
Um, Depends. Is the holiday special canon?
Oh, oof, I forgot about that. Man, David, yeah. Chewie is actually a female. Hey, that
What?
answers that question.
Oh god. Oh,
So, David, should we put yes or
I
no?
didn't even realize that was the next question. I was just looking. I was still thinking about what Chewie thinks.
Oh, oh, I thought, okay. Well, David, how does Chewie think? Does he think like you and not?
I put his stomach.
Yeah, I was just gonna put his stomach too. I kind of figured that at this point we kind of stopped answering the question. So, anyways, does Chewbacca have a wife?
Um, I'm gonna go with yes because I consider the Star Wars Christmas special canon.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. Um, how does Leia refer to Chewie after rescue? Okay, well we already went through this one.
Harry
Fuzzball,
Booger.
giant hair. Okay, so let me explain to you why I find that so funny. Because I didn't see that that was I didn't see that that was an option. And so I'm over here thinking you just said he's just I thought you just come up with that. You said it. You said it so quickly too. So fast. I was your friend of you say Harry Booger. Not realizing that was an option. Oh. Okay. He's a hairy booger now. I don't even care that I know what the right answer is. I'm I'm selecting Harry Booker. Oh, finally. Chewbacca got the medal he was denied in the original Star Wars. At the MTV Movie Awards, who presented it to him? Who is Jenny McCarthy?
Jenny McCarthy. I don't know. So our options
She
are
must have
Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Jenny McCarthy, and Ewan McGregor. I don't
Well,
even know if
obviously.
Ewan would have been around then. So
I must say, I don't even know when this would have been supposed to take place.
I mean, well, Ewan would have been around because I remember him, or he mentioned in one interview talking about
Scene.
going to see the movies in the theater because his uncle was on
Because
them.
his uncle was a pilot in him. So he would have been
Yep.
alive, but he wouldn't have been Ewan McGregor at that point.
Yeah. So obviously it's Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go. Well, why would they put some random person like Jenny McCarthy in there? Like you would
Maybe that's
think
it.
it would make more. You would think it would make sense for them to do. I'm gonna click it. Carrie Fisher, but if it's an award show, but then why would I don't know? I'm gonna do Carrie Fisher because that's my gut answer. Um.
Submit my answers.
Okay.
Okay, so question 1. What race is Chewbacca? I
I'm
answered
gonna read
Wookiee,
them.
and I got it correct. And
Question
oh,
two.
there's a thing right here. It says and it has 2 E's, not 1, but 2. I hate it when people do that.
They apparently really hate it when people do that.
All right, what planet is Chewbacca from?
That's stupid.
What'd you answer?
Oh, that's stupid. Okay. Cool. Oh, I put Kashyyyk with 3 Y's.
Yeah, that's what I put too. And yes, that was correct. All
Who
right, so speed
played
round. Peter Mayhew. That's answer number 3. Chewie's best friend was
Han?
who? Han. Yeah. What are the circumstances that Chewie met Han? Han rescued him from slavery. I got that one right too. What ship does Chewie co-pilot? The USS Enterprise. I got that one right too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why is it not wise to upset a Wookiee? They pull people's arms out of their sockets. I
I
suggest
suggest you let the Wookiee win.
exactly. Who does Chewie carry around in a backpack in Empire Strikes Back? C3PO.
Alright, this one's dumb.
I think we both got this one wrong,
I
even though we
put
answered
he
different
reminded
things.
him of I said it was his
Yeah,
reminded him of slave days. I thought the fact that it was designed for not this okay, so what didn't Chewie like about the Imperator shuttle in Return of the Jedi? The answer was it wasn't designed for Wookiees. I thought that would have just been obvious. I didn't think that would be why he
and
didn't
then
like
the
it. So I
note
thought
he
that
puts on here is, "I don't think the Empire had Wookiees in mind when they designed it."
yeah. Well, that's true. Oh,
Okay.
ooh, ooh. For the okay, so moving on to the next one. This ties into what I was talking about earlier. So, what biological feature did Chewie have that was not mentioned in the movies? It's just retractable claws. The note is it was extremely dishonorable to use them in combat. They were strictly for climbing. So, it was a honor thing, which I know they were pretty big on. David, I think I'm a little stupid.
But
Okay, don't answer that. How old was Chewbacca approximately in Return of the Jedi? I put 100 years. I thought he was
I put
younger, but it was 200 years.
yeah, I put 200.
Well, you got it right. So,
Yeah. Okay,
all right,
according to
Han thinks
Han, his stomach.
his stomach.
Yeah,
Did
that's what I put.
oh hey! Did Chewie have a wife?
I
Yes.
put
Although
yes, and apparently that's right.
it's never mentioned. Although it's never mentioned in the films, Chewie is spoken for and actually has kids.
It's mentioned in the holiday special.
Exactly.
True fans would know this.
Exactly. People. All right. How does Leia refer to Chewie as a walking hairy booger?
Harry Booger.
Um,
I got that one wrong
and
because I
then
put Harry Booger even though we knew the answer.
yeah, I got it wrong too. But I'm not counting that one. Um, and then what was who presented Chewie with the medal? It was Carrie Fisher. So,
Oh, I actually did put
and
Carrie
it
Fisher on that one,
was
so I
the
actually got that
real
right.
and it was the real Peter Mayhew. So it wasn't actually. So David, I got 12 out of 15. Would have been 13 out of 15 because I'm not counting that one. Um, not too bad. Not too bad. What'd you get? 15
Oh,
out of 15?
I got 13 out of 15.
So you got 14 out of 15 then. It was just the one that you missed.
Yeah,
I'm not counting the one that we purposefully missed.
yeah.
David, to move things along, because I do have an article I want to read. I don't know how long it would take, but I do want to read it. Let's go ahead real quick and take this. How much Chewy are we?
Okay. How much like Chewbacca are you? Am I? Are you a Wookiee?
Are we?
Are we a Wookiee?
Are we?
Alright.
Okay.
So, how do you prefer to travel? Are you ready, Wesley?
No.
Okay, well, how do you prefer to travel?
Walking, driving, flying, running.
Um,
Driving.
I'm I'm gonna say yeah, driving. Alright.
I don't like
How
walking
would
or running.
how would you describe your fashion sense? And flying's too expensive.
Yeah, flying's way too
Functional,
expensive.
fancy, modern, fashion sense? Yeah, what is a fashion
Function.
sense?
I'm gonna go with functional.
I'm
It
gonna go with fashion
works.
sense?
Yeah, I figured you would. I I have clothes.
What's usually the first thing on your mind? My friends, food, always food, my safety, or rest and relaxation? This is a
Always
tough
on my
one.
mind.
It's a
What's
tough one.
always on my mind? David, I need a is is there a nothing? I have a nothing box, and I am in that nothing box constantly. David, we're guys. Obviously, we don't think about anything half the time.
True. See, I would say my friends, but I want to be honest, so I'll say food.
Yeah, if I'm not in my nothing box, I feel like the first thing on my mind is food, because I mean, none of the other ones would fit. I don't think about people.
Mm. Alright. If your friend is wrong about something, what do you do? Let it go, call them on it, talk behind their back, or correct them later. Well, it's no fun unless you call them on it.
I was gonna say call them on it, but where's the roast them and make fun of them button?
Unless I call them on it's the closest thing to that.
Yeah.
Alright, you ready?
Are you a good sport when it comes to losing? Absolutely. Sometimes I get mad at myself. I've been known to pull people's arms out of their sockets.
I mean, when you lose games as often as I do, you kind of have to be a good sport about it.
I get okay. I I think I am a sore. Sarah would automatically tell you I'm a sore loser. I'm gonna put sometimes because I can be a sore loser. Depends on who I'm playing
Absolutely.
against.
Like I said, when you suck at everything as much as I do, you kind of have to.
That's fair. That's fair. If a friend
Alright.
needs help, what do you do?
Go get
Get
someone
someone
else.
else. Hey, I need help. Oh, hey, Joe. Yeah, help him because I'm not. All right. Um, nothing. I need to save myself. All right. Maybe do something. Whatever I can to help. All right, David. You're gonna be
Okay, it
a.
depends on who it is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like you, nothing. But see, I don't really like you. So I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, you're not really a likable person. So
True, true.
I don't know. I'd probably do just to be semi-honest. I
But
I,
then
I
again,
would help someone.
other than me, what other friends do you have?
Well, I mean, yeah, but the bar is really low. It's in zero.
Mm. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna do
I've
whatever I
lost.
can to help because there's nothing in between. Maybe I'll do something, and then like absolutely anything you need.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing in
exactly,
between. So
exactly.
I guess I'll just do
Hey,
whatever I can. But
how much Chewbacca are you?
how much are you?
Well, how much are you? Are you 100%?
That's
Well,
just
you
not
gotta get.
showing.
Oh, you're
Yes,
100% Chewbacca.
I'm 100
I'm
percent
70.
Chewbacca.
I told you you would be more than me. I'm 75% Chewbacca, so I'm only a little hairy.
Does that
David,
mean I'm gonna start growing more
Chewbacca,
hair?
Chewbacca is your spirit animal. He's your spirit pet. All
Oh,
right, so go ahead and read what your thing says.
hold up. Where did it go? I think I got out of it.
Okay,
You go
well
ahead
this
and
thing
read
just
yours.
says
I'll get back to it.
you have a lot in common with our Wookiee, our favorite Wookiee. Hopefully, no droids challenge you in a game of uh, what's the game called? Jarek, whatever it's called. Now that you know what percentage Chewbacca you are, go see if you yada yada yada. Don't really care about seeing how much Rey and Kylo I am.
Okay, so here I got back to it. Okay, so wow, you are exactly like Chewbacca. Rude, loyal, and
Hey,
honest.
why is that rude? You discriminating against Chewbacca? Can't do that. Can't do that.
Loyal
All
and
right.
honest. You'd make a great best friend.
You'd make a
Wow.
great walking carpet.
Harry
You'd,
Booker.
you'd make a you'd make a great Harry Booker. Uh,
Just try to control that temper. Let a Wookiee let out a Wookiee roar and take your seat in the Falcon. You deserve it.
it said Wookiee roar, not dying llama.
Well, that's
You
the
know,
best you're getting.
I guess that's fair. I read something earlier today where it said when they are creating Chewbacca's roar that they used a bunch of different animals. I don't think a llama was one of them. So you're really good at impressions, David, but maybe just stick to looking like Chewbacca. All right, David. All right, David. I I have a quick little article to read to you. It is from our favorite website, starships.com. I have not read it, but I'm very intrigued because I have a question for you, David. What do you call Star Wars fans? What are Star Wars fans called?
Uh, Wookiees?
If that's the actual answer here, that is perfect tie-in, completely unintentional. I doubt it though. All right. So this is by Brad Burney.
That's who
Let's see
the
what
other ones
Brad
have been
Burney.
by.
Oh, so it's all the same guy. All right, well let's just see how out of pocket this one is. Um All right. Whenever you whenever an entertainer or some form of media begins to gain steam, when it comes to popularity, it's not at all uncommon for their fan base to give themselves a dedicated nickname. You may already be familiar with some of these nicknames. Star Trek fans are known as Trekkies. Harry Potter fans go by Potterheads, Fatheads for short.
Wait, did it actually say that?
No,
Oh, okay.
but
I was about to say.
yeah. Hey, anyways, what is it? Uncle Greg keeps calling me a pothead when I had like all my my long hair or whatever. He was joking about me looking like a pothead. So
Shaggy? Is that
Shaggy.
you?
Anyways, yes, I am your father. So I'm the real Wookiee here. Anyways, so uh, films directed by Christopher Nolan are known. What film director Christopher Nolan has his Nolanites. Hulk Hogan has Hulkamaniacs. Didn't know all of these. But what about Star Wars? Just what exactly are Star Wars fans called? After all, there's no denying that Star Wars has a huge impact on pop culture. The ser- the series easily has one of the most rapid and yeah, rabid. Was that the right use of the word? Has one of the most rabid and passionate fan bases around. Are we foaming at the
Um,
mouth? I mean, I'm not gonna say I disagree with that characterization, but I mean, don't say it. All right, these are these are online communities, websites, and even entire fan conventions devoted solely to all things Star Wars, like a podcast for people by David and Wesley called X-Wing Radio. Go check it out. Oh
sounds
wow, you're
awful. Who
already
would even
listening to
listen to
it?
that?
I mean, nobody. It's pretty bad. All right, what what's in a name anyway? That's okay.
Letters?
Cool. I never thought of that before. With a franchise that contains a vast amount of content, both with the main canon film releases, as well as an incredibly large amount of expanded universe content in the form of books, video games, and other forms of media. It's really no surprise that Star Wars has such a vocal and proud fan base. But again, the question remains that I'm not going to answer until the very end of this article. Just what are Star Wars fans called? Actually, I might not have even answered at all because I just started writing this article and didn't have an idea what I was going to do with it. Moving on. The answer is actually a lot more straightforward than you would initially think. Oh, really? All right. Start. Oh my God. Shoot me in the head. Star Wars fans are simply called Star Wars fans. Well, whoop-de-doo. I didn't see that one coming. Yep. It's that's it. No clever puns, no play on words. It's just one incredibly accurate way to describe fans as fans. Don't
What?
let the fact that Star Wars fans don't have a term like Trekkies or Potterheads or Potheads for short fool you. As we've already mentioned, Star Wars fans are indeed some of the most passionate fans around. And if you're looking to meet other like-minded mega fans, there are quite a few options as far as annual conventions go. Star Wars Celebration. One of the biggest fan conventions held in this isn't even talking about what we call them. This is just moving on. Oh, wait. Okay, well, whatever. There's two little thingies and then a conclusion. So, one of the biggest fan conventions held for Star Wars fans is the Star Wars Celebration, originating back in 1999 when Lucasfilm held the inaugural edition to celebrate the release of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. There have been a total of 13 Star Wars Celebration conventions held thus far, with the 14th planned for the summer of 2020. This was published in 2019. The convention is usually held in the United States, having been hosted by Colorado, Indiana, California, Florida, and Illinois thus far. Occasionally, the convention does go international, though. It's been held in Germany, Japan, and the United Kingdom twice. In general, the Star Wars Celebration Convention is held to celebrate the release of new movie releases. I wonder what. Anyways, never mind. On the top of those, there are also conventions held to celebrate the 30th and 40th anniversaries of the original Episode 4 A New Hope film. As of the time of this writing, the last Star Wars Celebration convention was held April 19th in Chicago. Fans from over 50 different countries flocked to the city for the event, where everyone was able to congregate and share their love for Star Wars, for all things Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars mega fan, different category, you have to have a subscription for that. And you've never been, you should definitely be placing the Star Wars Celebration right at the top of your bucket list. Plenty of options. The Star Wars Celebration Convention isn't the only place where you're able to mingle with fellow Star Wars fans. All across the globe, fans organize their own smaller events as well in order to meet and discuss all things Star Wars. For example, Canada will Fan Expo Canada will be holding a Star Wars convention in Toronto in August of 2019, where fans can meet to enjoy the complete Star Wars experience. Killing Younglings is included. There will be cosplay meetups, march by the 501st Legion Canadian Stormtrooper Garrison, one of the largest Star Wars costume groups in the world, and they're Canadian. I got nothing. An R2D2 Builder Club, as well as a photo op with the Rebel Legion Star Wars costume group. Yes?
You done?
I mean, I got some more, but if you had something to say.
Go ahead and finish the article.
Okay. There are also smaller conventions held many in Europe, Asia, Latin countries as well. You never have to look too far to find some like-minded mega fans when it comes to Star Wars, even though they're only called Star Wars fans. All right, conclusion. Star Wars fans may not have a nickname as immediately recognizable as Star Trek fans have with Trekkies, but it's quite all right. With a franchise as huge as Star Wars, is, it's not really needed after all. Series transcends pop culture, bringing together people from all walks of life all united by one common thing, their love of Star Wars. But at the end of the day, that's what being a fan really is about. Okay, but here's the thing. That's a lame response. Can I edit this? Is this like Wikipedia? I want to edit this. I want to put in that we are going to call ourselves Wookiees. Let's start a petition. Wookiees. I really thought he would have had something in this. I'm a little disappointed.
There wasn't anything in that article, like, really, at all.
No. I mean, what was the point? He talked for He talked. I talked reading it for like 20 minutes there and got nothing out of it besides pothead. David, what do you think Star Wars fans should be called?
Wookiees.
Okay, we're going to stick with that. Petition. We're going to start a petition. We should call Star Wars fans Wookiees.
Anyway, Wesley, do you have anything else to add to this brain wreck of an episode?
Oh, it's not that big of a train wreck. I mean, we've made worse episodes.
This one is going to be very interesting to listen back to.
Hey, I don't know how often. Like, I know you edit them, so I don't know how much you actually listen to them. I don't have to, but I probably will.
Mhm. Anyway,
Hey,
if you're
I
ready,
have
go ahead and
I
lead
have
us
nothing
out.
more to add. I have
If you're
nothing
ready,
more to
then
add.
go
So
ahead and lead us out.
with that, all you lame sounding Star Wars fans, right? All you newly named Wookiees, be sure to join us here on X-Wing Radio, where we talk all things Star Wars. Episodes coming out every single day of the week. Moving forward.